Hello gamers, and welcome back to more preview content for the upcoming Blood Feud in Transylvania DLC for Steel Division 2. It will be released on 19th of January, and since this is a preview build, I put this small notification here at the bottom left that this is a preview build. Things may still change. Let's take a look at the first Axis division, and that's going to be 2nd Pancelos. The 2nd Pancelos Hadar or 2nd Armored Division was Axis Hungary's best equipped formation in the summer of 1944. Kept close to home and with plenty of tanks, it spearheaded the attack into Transylvania. The 2nd Pancelos Hadar fields several motorized squads styled along Wehrmacht lines. With a machine gun and the Hungarian equivalent of the bazooka, the 44M rocket launcher, the battle group's armored forces are plentiful, including a mix of Hungarian and German vehicles such as the Toldi and Turan, as well as a Reckenpanzer 3M and heavier Parduk and Tigris tanks, Hungarian designations for Panther and Tiger. The Hungarian Panzer Ace Erwin Tachai can also be found within this division in the division ranks. Anti-air defenses are strong thanks to its Nimrod self-propelled AA units. The 2nd Pancelos Hadar is a formidable armored fighting force comfortable in hard-hitting offensive operations. Let's take a look. Activation slots, you get very decent Reckon slots. For a tank division you get very good infantry slots as well. A ton of tank slots, 6 1-point slots. Support very decent, AT a bit lackluster. Anti-air, you get a lot of cheap slots, that's very good for the Nimrods. Artillery, very decent, and also air you can should be able to bring in like 4 planes without problem if you want to. Let's start with the Reckon tab. When I build a deck I start with the infantry tab, but for now, for this purpose of this video, we start with the Reckon tab. So you get a BMW squad, no radio, you get the Felderito Yarreur, you get the Chava. These are all not new to the game, the units here. And Toldi 2A, very good because of the high rate of fire. You get the Lovaschfelder Retok. This is pretty cool. You get 2 cards, and it can actually double function as an infantry squad. It's quite beefy with 12 men, 10 rifles, 1 light machine gun, not too shabby at all. And this is a new unit, or at least a new variant with its own skin as well, of course. And the Panzer 3M, unlike the known Axis versions, it does not have APCR shells. I think it's got 5 more AP shells instead. But it's also 5 points cheaper. In the infantry tab, you get the I'm sorry for the pronunciation. The Kerek Parashok rifle squad, only 1 LMG, cheap. Yeah, it's more like a CQC than line infantry, I think. Well, not good CQC, of course. Then you get the Lovesh with a Panzerfaust, which is basically a similar loadout, but a different SMG and a Panzerfaust instead of 1 rifle. And these 2 are phase locked to A phase. Then you get a new unit, and it's been mentioned in the well, all these 4 units are new. You get basically they are like kind of like Panzerbrand squads, but only 1 MG42 instead of, for example, 2 or 2 MG30 4s. Yeah, so 11 men, 3 cards. You get the variant 44M, and they're only 20 points, which is pretty cool. Now this variant with the 44M variant has a shitty light machine gun, but has a good bazooka with 250 meter range. So this is actually pretty cool. You can have them team up maybe, and then you are covered at the edge of the forest, for example. You get a motorized leader as well. It's the only leader available for this division in the infantry tab. You get 2 of them though. They come in a super cool bus, kind of bus. They are decent at CQC and have smoke, which is good for leaders. Then you've got the motorized Akashock unit, which is basically your Pigran. It's 5 points more expensive than the, it's like your Pioneer. 5 points more expensive than the kind of Pigrans. Comes with an MG42. So you can use it at the edge of the forest a little bit as well. And yeah, that's the infantry tab. I think, yeah, you can fill that up quite nicely. Unfortunately, the last slot is already very expensive, but I think this is a decent tab and decent choices to work with. In the tank tab, you get the Toldi 2 leader. Then you get the Turan 1 and the Turan 2. Personally, I think the Turan 2 is better a bit later in the game because it has the heat shells, and the Turan 1 has the better rate of fire and is a little bit better early on. You get a Turan leader as well. I actually quite like those cheap tank leaders because they can also nicely support infantry pushes, and also they don't get bombed as quickly if they stand next to your artillery. Then you get the 41M Turan 2 as a leader. You get a Panzer 4 H. You get the Tiger, or the Tigris rather. This is basically the same as a Tiger E, I think it is. So it also benefits from the recent small buff to availability and price. And you get the Parduk. So, and this Panther is actually a slightly nerfed, in a sense, version. You get 5 more, it's a Panther, what was it, G I think? You get 5 more AP shells, but you don't have APCR, and the price stays the same. But you can drive slightly faster. And here is the hero unit. It's actually the leader, so you only get 1 of availability is 1. Again, you don't have APCR, price is the same, and also this leader, as opposed to others, does not have radio. But interesting, you can bring him double vetted in A phase, and the Parduk you can't bring double vetted in A phase, only single vetted. So that's actually quite interesting, I think. In the support tab, there are no new units to this division. You get Karaf Langoshavak, which is good for early rushes, in particular if your division is as slow as this one. You get, yeah, this is at least 80 kilometers. You get the Schwarzlose, you get 2 cards of MG34s. You get ammunition, you get the Steyr leader, very fast. You get the Shaba leader, and you get or commander rather, and you get a Panzer IV commander. Considering how cheap the slots are, you can nicely put in some of the machine guns. In the AT tab, you get something really cool, and that's at least I think so, and that's the Pancelos, a new unit, because they come with this Hungarian variant of a bazooka. So you get 250 meter range, pretty funny. Then here you can compare it with the Panzerschreck. the Panzerschreck obviously having the same range and less and more accuracy, but I think it's pretty cool. I just wonder, yeah, and your benefit is actually that I didn't see that before when I took a very first look at the diff and wrote down, you know, which units are new and which aren't. Your availability is actually 6 instead of 4, which is pretty cool. Then you get a Pak 38 basically with heat shells, 1.5 kilometer range, only 30 points. You get a Pak 40M, only 2 APCR shells. I think the German Pak 40 variant has 5 or 6, so this is a bit of a bummer. And then you get this new unit, the Stück 3, the Stück 3G. It's a bit slower than the known Stück 3 F8 off-road, 3 kilometers. But you have less AP and way more HE shells, which is cool. In particular in the support role, and also your front armor is 90 millimeter. You can see here, this is possibly the front armor 90 millimeter instead of 70, so that's huge. It's also more expensive. Is it 20 points more expensive or something? It is. I think it is more expensive, yeah. The anti-air tab is quite exciting because you get 6 cards of Nimrods. This is the Nimrod we already know, with heat shells, 750 meter range, AP shells, HE shells, and so on. It's also a very, very good vehicle in an anti-infantry support role. And this one is new. It's a variant. As you can see, it's got kind of like the same look and skin, but it has a different loadout. You lose the heat shells, which are only 750 meter range anyway, but you gain the advantage of having to pay 10 points less. And this is really cool, so you can call that in an A phase, for example, and you can see availability is also better, so this is a very good deal. You can even bring it single vetted in A phase and get 2, which should have you covered. And then you get an AA gun here, and on this variant here, dual purpose gun, 80 millimeter. These are known, even a bit rare, but known. Yeah, so this is not new. Then let's take a look at the artillery. In the artillery tab, there's no new unit. You get an artillery observer, the Tischerek. You get the Tischt, which is the leader, the artillery leader. You get 81 millimeter mortars. You get the Göring heavy howitzer. You get an off-map 105 millimeter, not too shabby, can help. You get another mortar, the 120 millimeter mortar, and you get 149 millimeter heavier off-map. So you don't really have any, this leichte Feldhaubitze here variant. You don't have anything with a fantastic, rate of fire. So you should not rely on your artillery too much. And you've got lots of slots actually. So yeah. I mean, this one 7.5 damage, not too shabby. And I think this is yeah, you can bring it with an ammunition truck. And this is possibly one of the slowest vehicles in the game. Yeah, so maybe if you play balanced or something, you can use it. Or this might actually be quite good in 10v10. Because you get 3 cards of these, 3 cards of these. You can bring these with ammunition. So I think in 10v10 this is very solid. In the air tab, there's one unit that stands out a little bit, and it's the Junkers 88A4, and it's this one because of the bomb loadout. You get 2 500 kilogram bombs and 10 50 kilogram bombs, and this loadout did not exist before. You get a witch here as well. And I think this is cool. You could even micro it hard and drop bombs twice in one run. Other than that, you get a Recon plane in the Junkers 88D1. You get the Focke-Wulf 189A2, which is also a light bomber. Can be very nasty early on. You get the Messerschmitt CA fighter bomber. Very cheap, very slow. Dishes out quite some damage, also with the two 250 kilogram bombs. BF-109 G6. Bad resilience, not much armament. It's not one of my favorite fighters. Availability is quite good though. You get the BF-109 G6 R1 fighter bomber, medium payload, 150 kilogram bomb. Which is good to hit. I noticed that if I'm not 100% sure, so please correct me in the comments, but I think I've seen in some games that when the bombs are under the wings, there's a chance that they don't drop exactly on the enemy unit, because you kind of aim with the center of the plane at the enemy unit, and the bombs are kind of then on the sides, which is good against tanks, I guess, or lightly armored vehicles. But if you want to hit a support unit directly, I think it might be a bit of it can be a bit of a problem, I think. And here with this bomb, you know, it should drop right on, so not too bad. And you get I think this is quite a good fighter, the G6R6. You get 3 20mm machine guns plus 2 30mm, so you can use it for strafing as well. It's in the Harteneck division as well. This is another variant of the Junkers 88A4 that already exists with 4 250 kilogram bombs, slightly cheaper. And then last but not least, you get the Junkers 88S1 cluster bomber to have even more tools to take out tanks. And you get here the coat of arms of the Hungarians. Yeah, this is the division. I think it looks very interesting, and it seems viable in both 1v1 but also 10v10. Also, you get lots of tools for ranged. You get good tools for ranged AT, but also CQC AT basically, and infantry support. So this is quite fantastic. It lacks a bit when it comes to 2K HE. So this is where you will suffer, and there should not be too much 2K range fighting. You would then have to resort maybe to your Air Force, which is good, but it's also not fantastic. Your AA is fantastic though, so you might win the sky, annoy the enemy with a recon plane, lure him out, lure his planes out, push forward the Nimrods, and do a heavy tank push. Also supported with the good infantry and obviously some recon. You know, these beefy dudes here, maybe put them in B if you play Maverick, and then yeah, push. Infantry cheap but solid, I'd say. Obviously slow. So I think this is a very interesting division. So what is going to be my my favorite unit in this deck? I'm a bit torn between the leader unit or the hero unit, because I think having a hero is pretty cool and having a double vetted Panther in A ain't bad. But I also think that you, for 20 points, you get 6 bazookas. 6 bazooka units is also pretty cool. But ultimately I will go for the Nimrod 90-point variant, because this one is really good, but you don't need the heat that often. And so I think my favorite unit in this is going to be the Nimrod in the 90-point variant. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think of the division in the comments below. Until then, bye for now.